in the past 2 days, I've just kind of been binge listening to some audiobooks while I drive and then also at home. I don't know, was kind of in the mood to just kind of zone out and listen. Kind of want to try to do Sudokus or something while I do that rather than just like fully zoning out. But yeah, so I listened to Field Guide for the Formerly Villainous by Autumn K. England, which I think, to be honest, what really appealed to me was the cover. I know, I kind of love cream as like a little off-white moment, and I don't know, the like tree, the farm, everything, like all the little, if I look at it now, like you kind of get little Easter eggs. And also it's just like a nice, cozy romance book. Cozy fantasy romance book. And that was kind of really what I was in the vibe for. Yeah. So Field Guide for the Formerly Villainous. So it follows Oakland. And Oakland's a former cultist. So in the world, there's people with magic, people with no magic. I don't really know how. It's kind of like mutants in X-Men. Like, it's like some in a family can be, some won't be. Obviously, mutants is like a gene thing, but I don't think it's that far. But yeah, so some people have magic, some people don't. Oakland does. And Oakland was the only one to have magic in her kind of conservative family. And she eventually ran away from home, or kind of left home to want to explore her magic, and got sucked into this cult. And so the cult was a mind control cult where they started murdering people. So not great. And that was, I think she joined when she was 17, and now 6 years later, so she's probably about 23, and doesn't have any, like, really, her memory's really not there. So has no memories from the last 6 years and even into her childhood, and is just trying to start a new life in this small town. So she's bought this farm. But what she doesn't realise is that this farm was owned by a grandma who is now haunting it as a ghost, and the grandma's trying to like teach her about the farm, or the granny is trying to teach her about the farm, and also kind of try to help her like be okay with what happened and move on from her past and not let it hold herself back. And so, yeah, it was just a really cute book. We have a lot of side characters. Obviously, I said romance, so she has a little romance with a paladin librarian called... Leora. So paladins are of the three... some religion, the 3 pillars or something. I think that's the thing, when I listen to the audiobooks, I don't really listen to the details. I can tell you the story, but not the details. And it's not that important. But yeah, of the 3, and they're the people who kind of govern in a way, like they govern certain parts, like it's a big religion, think Christianity. And they they fought against the cult and killed the leader. And so for Oakland, like when she first sees them, she's like terrified because she really doesn't want to be persecuted, and like some people in the 3 are calling for persecution of anyone who was in the cult at all. So not just, so basically it scares her, but then she starts to meet Leora and they kind of start to fall in love. I think my one thing with that is that I think in my mind it was going to be like a bit more of a romance, but it was more of a slow burn, which as it was happening, it makes sense, just because of Oakland's trauma. Like, she kind of has to move on from the cult before she can really almost start living her life the way she wants to, and like that also means that she's not quite ready to have like a relationship until probably the end of the book, as she's gone on this journey. Yeah, and then there's Viz and not Viz. Oh, that's the will of the many. Vin. I don't know his name. Oh, Rin. In my mind, it's R-H-I-N or V-H-I-N, but yeah, R-H-I-N. Rin, who's a magical baker, and Jules, who, yeah, definitely should just get together. Very giving of like Love Life Farms relationship in terms of not dating, but are dating. Rin is a magical baker, Jules is a town bard / singer. Then there's all the other farmers in the union, just at the farmers market, and some of the sisters of the paladins, so other paladins. And so, yeah, you kind of like, does a really good job of building the community. You get the whole community vibe, you get to know them, and you can kind of see like the different ways that they'll help like Oakland heal in a way, even if it's more of a push rather than a heal. But yeah, so Oakland bought this farm and she didn't quite realise that there was a spell on it, so you could only buy it if you had magic. And she didn't know that, obviously. And so some of the townsfolk knew that, and so they now know her secret, that she does have magic, even though she doesn't want to use it. And she's scared of her magic because of what happened in the cult, which I think is fair. And part of it is that she more needs to heal from that rather than never use her magic again. But I think it's a fair reaction. It hasn't been that long. But yeah, I think what I liked about it was the like feel of community, seeing Oakland heal, and then like all the various almost side quests of like, you get to meet Dara, who like was another cultist, and like seeing how in that community they're all just looking out for each other, so they're not judging anyone for what their past is, and I'm sure many of them like have past that they don't want to talk about and have done things that they are shameful of, so yeah, it's quite a nice community. I think my one thing is I just don't think the like end almost twist needed to happen. I don't know. So yeah, this is spoilers ahead from now. But it turns out that Granny's son was also a cultist, and so she went to the cult just to try to talk to him, but they weren't letting any outsiders in, and so she was murdered at the doorstep. And it turned out that the cultist who did that was Oakland. So basically Oakland killed Granny, the ghost. And I don't know, I just don't think that needed to be the case. Like, I don't know, it just felt like another little plot twist that didn't really need to happen. I kind of would have preferred if more happened with the Inquisitor. So there's also an Inquisitor who came to town, who was wanting to persecute other cultists. An Inquisitor of the three who was looking to find former cultists and persecute them. And I don't know, I think it would have been more interesting if that part of the book was kind of elongated rather than that happening and then Oakland feeling really bad, and then you find out that she murdered Granny, and it's like, what? I don't know, it just didn't really need to happen that way. And kind of felt like another twist to have another twist, in a way. Like, I don't know, I don't think it really added much. I think the Inquisitor was good because it kind of got you to learn about the community and the values and the fact that most people don't actually care and can recognize that mind control is a thing. Like, they weren't making their own choices. So do you really need to persecute people who have also lost periods of their life? Like, it's not like they won from it. So yeah, like, I think that would have been slightly more interesting to me rather than almost circling back and having it. Yeah, so Oakland was the one who killed Granny. I think it did make sense in terms of why the ghost was still there, but then it didn't really. Like, the ghost would just be in, like, she could have just been in her house and, like, needed to heal from, like, needed to help Oakland heal because she couldn't do that for her son. Like, that could have been the reason for why she wanted to stay around, because she wanted to support someone in the same way that she wanted to support her son. But yeah, I think the good things about this book was, like, the imagery of, like, the way the magic filled the forest, the sounds, and, like, obviously when you're listening to something as well, like, if it has good imagery, then it kind of makes you just want to listen to it. Like, you don't really want to zone out while you're doing it. And yeah, I think it set a really pretty picture in terms of Oakland's farm. And yeah, I think my one other thing was, I kind of, like, I think for me, I probably wouldn't have listened to this if I knew how many panic attacks Oakland was going to have. Yeah, so I think, especially, like, listening, so, like, if I read a panic attack, it's completely different because, like, it's reading in the page, it's not someone hyperventilating in your ear, and, like, describing the emotions that you can physically feel. And so I kind of wish there was, like, a little trigger warning about panic attacks, just because there are a decent amount throughout the book, and, like, to the point where you're like, well, I kind of wish there was a warning on this. But I think that was my one thing. Yeah, because it can be a bit confronting, especially if they're well written. Like, a well written panic attack just sounds like a panic attack. So that's probably my one main gripe, other than the stakes being a little high. But yeah, I really enjoyed, like, the seasons being different parts and kind of how, like, you could feel that. I don't know if I agree that Oakland should have had to feel, like, so pressured to help the community. like that kind of goes into like the stakes being too high of like it felt like it was a way to force her to have to use her magic, but I feel like that could have happened naturally. It didn't have to be that year, like the first year that she's bought this farm, so then they're going to have this really bad bug infestation and bug and fungus infestation that they normally would have magic to protect across, but Danny's granny's obviously unfortunately died, so now it's kind of on Oakland as the new like magical farmer to help protect the thing, and that's also kind of why people know she has magic, because of the farm. But yeah, I don't know, it's like little things like that. I think you could have done a similar thing in a different way, or even make it be started in winter, and then have her have like 6 months to like learn her magic, rather than 3 months where 2 of them she's just trying to settle into normal life. I don't know, it just felt a bit rushed in terms of that regard. But I think it also was good. I know, I think it's still like just like a cute book that if you want a really bingeable, easy listen, then I think go ahead. I kind of want to know what Rin's story is, because I feel like he has secrets, like especially like his room being blank. And yeah, Rin and Jules' story, or even I want Dara to find something. But yeah, Leor and Oakland are cute, and I think their relationship works, and I liked it. I feel like it dragged out a little bit. I think that's probably it. I think it's more that it feels like the book dragged a little at the end when I don't think it needed to. And I think it could have slowed down and done some things a little slower rather than fit so much in. Yeah, which sounds contradictory, but it just feels like there was like something on something on something to like slow down like the romance, slow down the like Oakland getting used to magic. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it was events to slow down plot, if that makes, I don't know if I'm making sense. I didn't write notes for this one. I just thought I would go ahead. But yeah, I still liked it. I think the description of like Stardew Valley was really apt, especially in terms of like the changing seasons and the magic part, obviously, as well. And then like the community and all of their drama that you can get involved in if you want to. Did kind of make me want to play Stardew again. But yeah, I think it's still, like, I think if you want a cute, cozy romance to read, then it's obviously, like, exactly the vibe. Yeah, just don't, for all of them, like, just don't have too high expectations, and then you're fine. But yeah, and the cover still gets me. Like, even, like, the cover's just so pretty. So I think that makes up for it. Having a pretty cover means you can have a bad book. But anyway, bye.